Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing a little bit of review of what I did of the games I beat back in last year. As some of y'all may not know, I started, I restarted this channel with the intent of like accomplishing goals and oh, excuse me. Okay, what some of y'all may not know is I started this channel with the intent of like accomplishing goals, checking things off my bucket list, beating games off my backlog. So I might as well just do a little bit of review of where things went in 2025. You know, I don't always put every single game I play on the channel just because sometimes you just want to do it for enjoyment. And my channel's not nearly big enough at the moment to really be posting this much. And with my schedule currently, with classes, I really just can't. So I just kind of put select things of what I like uh, on there. But let's get started with the list. All right. First up, Backrooms Escape Together. I feel like the B tier because this is like a multiplayer only type of game. It's really good. It's fun. But aside from that, like this is a game where I feel like I can only play uh like co-op because like some of these puzzles are a bit too difficult soloing. At least for me, some people might be able to do it, but it's kind of like average. Like it's like one thing I've learned is friends can really prop up an average game to like an S tier. And then it's like I realize it's not the game that's like good. It's just socializing with friends and hanging out with them. Laughing and chin chatting on things that are happening. So the game provides the space to do it, but it's not necessarily always the game that's like the driving factor. Because because other than like the socialization aspect, like there's really nothing else that like draws me to Backroom Escape Together. Like, it's cool seeing some of the lore from the backroom, which is why I'm kind of like placing it a bit high. That is like it's fun to explore and see experience the backrooms in a multiplayer fashion. But yeah, it's what some people are naming friend slop, on some YouTubers, but uh, they're probably just people with no friends. All right, so the next game on the list is the Oregon Trail, and it's the newest version that came out just a few years ago. Uh, Honestly, I think it's probably like C tier. Um, like it's not a bad game, but it's also like nowhere near what the original was, and that's sort of like what I was hoping this game was. Because I played it and I was expecting like some difficulty spikes, but the game kind of like really it feels like it holds your hand a bit. Like even on the hardest difficulty, like you can make it to Oregon. Uh, like you might struggle at the very end, but it's like there's almost no chance that you're gonna fail. And like I said, it's not bad. I like the graphics of it, but it just doesn't have that same spirit of difficulty that the original was known for. Like people dying of dysentery or starvation or whatnot. And this is just it's like a D make a little bit in a sense. Like I said it's not bad because I like that little simulation type style of game, but it's it doesn't capture the original's essence, and that's a shame, and that's one of the reasons why I have to put it down to C tier. Okay, so Helldivers. So this one's gonna be interesting because uh, same with like Backrooms Escape Together. Like it's a multiplayer game, but people might say, well, it doesn't really have a story. There's no real end to it. But if you're someone who's trying to like play games and uh, this is gonna apply to like a few other games in here, is games with no end. You know, like Helldivers 2. Like those can be bad if you want to actually accomplish your backlog. You know, actually knock it out, because games with no end, you know, like you could play them for a whole year and then like, oh, I'm not. It's not saying that that's a bad thing, but it's just like at some point there has to be. You have to say, okay, I've done everything I wanted to do in this game, and like it's accomplished, and it's like that. Wipe your hands and just be done with it, you know. But with that said, this has to go S tier because uh, playing by myself or with friends, it's like I can do both. Um, Given like there's multiple different levels and tiers of difficulty, different threats that you have to like prep and plan for. Uh, yeah, this is just amazing. It's like you like the combat is very fleshed out, so replayable. You know, like if I wasn't having other games like come up on my list that I wanted to do, you know, I'd probably still be playing this. But you know, like I said, I want to try to knock out some other things on my backlog. So play a few things here and there. But yeah, no, this is amazing. I could fight the automatons all day, every day. You know, but at some point you gotta hang it up and just be like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I can't keep that fight up no more. Even though you want to, especially those the Flame Brigade and all them. Uh, yeah, it's a great game. Great game. Fun times with friends. And if you want to challenge yourself, solo a mission, try to be like Rambo and really put yourself to the test your skills, you know. But yeah, S tier, love it. Highly recommend it. All right, WWE 2K25. Where would I put this one? I've spent quite a bit of time playing this, and I put a lot of it into the channel. Uh, Honestly, I'd probably go A tier. Um, like the story mode is kind of like okay-ish. It's nothing like too revolutionary. But like it's the gameplay, you know, the theme music from like all the different wrestlers and whatever uh 2K has like licensed. So it's fun to hear, you know, listen to the soundtrack and the music. It's fun to play. The character creation is pretty top notch. You know, I've made quite a wide variety of friends and a bunch of other people on there. Um, you know, it's fun to play, but I haven't really like touched online. And I know like because I'm playing on the PC version, and I know there's like, which is absolutely mind-boggling, that like some content is only available on consoles and not on PC, and that's one of the reasons why I just can't put it on S tier because uh, there's there's a lot of things like to unlock and so much like paid DLC. Like I don't understand. Like hell, the next game 2K25 is probably or 26 is going to be coming out here soon probably. I'm expecting like March April time, and like they've released so much paid content that it's just a little absurd. You know, like if you want to keep up unlocking every single thing, it's like you have to play so much to where it just isn't fun. And so I really just stuck with like the base game and some of the base. I think I only bought one DLC, which was the one with Stephanie Vacour, uh, just because I think she's awesome. Uh, but yeah, I said it's like the monetization and just how some things are just locked just because of I'm a PC player just doesn't sit well with me. You know, if it was marked at a different price because you didn't have access to certain things of the game, that's understandable. But like it's a bit wild that they could release all these versions for the same price, but yet have uh, like different access. It's just crazy. Um, like I said, if the gameplay was terrible, this shit would be in D tier because I was like, that's just unacceptable. But because it's fun to play, you know, like I could pick up and just play a match here and there every once in a while, and it'd be fun. But yeah, yeah, that's a whole EA, 2K, and all them. That's a whole nother rant that you can just jump into. All right, so next game is Kinky Spiritual or Kinky. Okay, this is a game I did upload. It wasn't too bad, but some of the controls were a bit clunky, and the story was kind of probably go at C tier. Like it was, like I said, it's pretty like average. Like I said, the controls and some of the controls were just awful. Um, it wasn't until like midway till I found out how to actually change the controls because it was just very janky. Like turning left and right was it, like I don't understand who thought to have those settings set that way. Um, like it took me a bit to figure out how to actually change things because like it goes from the controller to the mouse and keyboard, and you have to if you don't hit a certain button, like it like if you don't like it won't save changes unless you hit like enter before you back out, which was why I struggled a bit because I was like, damn, I guess this is just how slow it's gonna be. And I played the game that way, and it wasn't until I figured out how to actually change it that I was like, oh, okay, it actually improved. But it's one of those things where it's like it's indie small dev team, I'm sure, and I say it wasn't for an indie game. It wasn't the worst thing out there, Uh, but yeah, like it's some of the controls and this. Yeah, like I said, just bringing me back to that shrine mission where there was like so many damn uh, ghost soldiers coming out and shooting you from like every different angle and turning left and right to try to shoot them was such a pain in the ass. Uh, yeah, so it's C tier again. Not the worst indie game out there, but it definitely had some hiccups. Okay, Deep Space Seven. Where am I gonna put this one? This was a fun little indie game that kind of mimicked. Oh, it didn't kind of mimic. It pretty much had heavy inspiration from Dead Space. There was some weirdness with the enemies because they had like chainsaws, which is I thought was so was a little bit out of place, but um, honestly, I think I'll probably put an A tier. Because as a indie game, it did a lot of things right, um, and it's kind of where I would hope uh, when I start publishing game, that's kind of like at the level where I hope it gets to, because it had like natural progression in the story. Trying to escape the ship. uh, Several levels, and about two, more like 3 to 4 hours of actual gameplay. Fighting the bosses and figuring out puzzles. Um, so whenever I get to that point of like making my own games, I kind of hope to get nearly that to that standard. So um, yeah, yeah. So that's mainly one of the reasons why I want to put it up that high is because like um, that's where I sort of would like to be, uh, like at that level of making indie at making indie games. Like the budgets and everything between like 2K25 and Deep Space 7 is vast, but I don't want to let that like cloud my judgment. Like, oh, it may not have the best graphics, but I think considering all the factors, yeah, I would give this an A because again, like there's really nothing wrong with it. It's not S tier level, but like the gameplay, it was fun. It was engaging. It and like the story was enough to keep me going. Uh, like if this was like a AAA game, with a high budget, I'd probably put it in B tier. But like I said, for an indie team, I think yeah, it deserves an A in my book. Um, Chucksy, that was another. I didn't buy this game, but a friend on my Steam family library, I was able to play this one. This one wasn't bad. This one it was pretty good horror. It was a pretty good horror game. However, I mean there was some funny moments too, but I think like towards the end or at that very last level where you're in the cabins and trying to solve things, I think yeah, I'll probably put it in B tier. 'Cause like I said, it was it was good up until that point where they should have just stopped and just said, "All right, this is it. Replay the story," and because when you do that part with the cabin, uh, it really just feels like they just threw a bunch of like assets together and was just like, we'll just wing it. It feels like that was a prototype and that they just didn't stick the landing very well at the very end. And like everything was great up until that point, but that's what they should have just had the 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 foresight to just say, all right, let's just chop it here. All this other stuff, just toss it, because like that part just like really drags it down. And it said like it was good with like the horror vibes. The gun control was a little weird too, because like the recoil was just a little. It was crazy. It was like shooting magnum bullets from like a Beretta. It just didn't make sense why that gun was just like jerking so crazy. um, yeah, so B tier for me, like I said, it was a fun little short experience, but once you try to move towards the final true ending, it's like, yeah, that's when things get really, it's like that's yeah, like it's like Game of Thrones. It's great up until the very end. That's the best way to say that's the best way to say that. It's like, oh, and that little ending just really crashed it down. Like it could have been A or S tier, but it's just or at the least A tier, but that ending kind of yeah, just drops it down a little bit. All right, by Sweet Carol. Hmm. This was interesting because this is another game that I just beat like towards the end of 2025, and like I played it because I saw the art style and man, that shit was amazing. It's it's pretty much like a home homage to the old Disney animations, and yeah, it really steps up there. It really makes you feel like you're playing a Disney movie, if that makes sense. And yeah, like that aspect is beautiful. It falls apart at other parts. It falls apart in other aspects. Like the gameplay kind of reminded me of Clockwork Tower. So like again, I knew what I was getting into when I played this, but there was a lot of like bugs that kind of like were really throwing me off a bit. Uh, yeah, like some parts where I had to like restart because I accidentally like broke uh like a puzzle by doing certain things in a weird manner that at least I wasn't supposed to, and there was some audio bugs that sort of like like it was skipping cutscenes, but they're like and their mouth wasn't matching the what was being said because I guess like it fell out of they fell out of sync with each other. Uh, I probably put an A tier because, like I said, the animation is what really kind of throws it up. Uh, oh man, yeah, I'd probably put an A tier. 'Cause like I said, the animation is what really kind of like drives the game to be good. It's like that mix of Clockwork Tower meets Disney, but like I said, some of those small bugs and yeah, some of the bugs like kind of really kept it from being the top tier. Um, yeah, like yeah, it's really just the bugs. Everything else is pretty much uh, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was really good, but yeah, just the bugs. Still wakes the deep. Honestly, that's S tier. Like now, this is like some people will call the gameplay like walking simulator, but if the story and like the horror aspects of like the game just at that level, at that peak level, um, like who cares? It's it is a very scary game. Like I said, it's I don't get goosebumps often, but man, I don't know if it was just the way it was designed, all the Cronenberg style monsters in there just really just man, that was scaring the shit out of me, man. Getting goosebumps, being stuck on the oil rig, um, not knowing what these monsters were, where they came from. I mean, I didn't play the DLC, but just the base game itself is, uh, yeah, the score, the music tied in well with the cutscenes, uh, the sound design, yeah, like as dark as some of those uh, tunnels and passages were in the oil rig, not knowing where the monsters were, like man, it really builds up that tension well, and yeah, I don't really have much negative thing to say about it. It's a good experience, and I think if anybody wants a good horror game, for sure, they should just check it out. Don't Scream. Oh yes, 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 this game. I probably put it A tier because, like I said, it's uh, because it uses like a unique uh, game mechanic that I think is fairly new. Um, because I've heard of a few games that kind of like use your mic's voice. This one kind of goes like really digs into that, where like if you make a noise, it's it just basically kills you. Uh, you know, and the filters in that game really make like the environment look very real. Like this is actual like found footage, and yeah, some of the jump scares are actually like pretty good. They I died several times in that. Um, yeah, it's a pretty good experience. Uh, Good for horror. It's what most of my games are, funnily enough. But yeah, no, definitely A tier. Uh, I think the only thing that kind of keeps it from being S is there's not really much of a story there. That's the only thing I'd probably want from it. Like really more of an understanding of like what is going on or where you're really at. Like maybe there's clues in the game somewhere, but I just never found them, and or they're just very obscure. But uh, yeah, no, definitely a good horror game. Backrooms. Oh yeah, Dead by Backrooms, and that's it is basically like the last level of Chucksy, but kind of really spread out. It's just weirdness. Uh, yeah, it's like I have a video of that channel, and like I restarted like the game starts with you in the bathroom flushing the toilets, and I thought that was like I restarted because I was like, okay, I must have missed something, clicked something I wasn't supposed to, but nope, uh, it's a whole lot of absurdity. There's some okay-ish puzzles, but like I said, it's they really starts to go into like uh old moon logic in old video games where it's like it's a little weird. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that one. Backrooms escape together. or Escape the Back. Okay. Yeah, I just got to put that in the same as Backrooms Escape together because, uh, I think they're made by different people, different companies, different developers, but the essence of both the games are pretty much the same. Like, it's cool to explore the back rooms and see some of the anomalies back there, some of the monsters, uh, exploring different levels. But again, it's a game I really will only play with my friends, and it's not a bad thing. It's kind of just average. um, yeah, like I said, they're practically the same game in my opinion. Half the times we get them both confused. Missing Hiker. Hmm. If I recall, this is actually a free game, and it's a short little experience. A pro, man, where am I gonna put this? Hmm. I will damn, I'll probably put it in B tier to be nice. Uh, because like I said, this is definitely an indie game. Like it's not bad to be in C tier. It kind of sits I would say somewhere in between B and C because it's a really short experience. I mean, I think in an hour you can pretty much play the game and get like all the endings. Um, it's still a good little horror game. Trying to figure out what happened to I believe it was like your missing brother. Um, yeah, it's what I like about it is like it's a good little template for like little indie devs to kind of like okay make something like this, but like you can make a project like this and kind of maybe uh, use it as a template of where to go, but it definitely needs to be like expanded on uh, because like again it's a free game, so like I can't knock it down. Like I said, if it was paid, then yeah, it would probably be like C or D. But uh, yeah, I would say it's a very low B. Uh, it's a decent for a little for an indie dev, where you should be aiming at. But that's about that's about as much as I could give it. You know, yeah, no, I mean, I throw it in C tier. Because it's like yeah, even though it's free, uh, short experience, short quick horror, but ultimately, uh, yeah, they definitely should have expanded on that a bit more. Uh, and then we'll talk about that later. I'll dig into this when I get to Fears of Fathom. Backrooms Newgate. This one I played. Okay, this one has a weird story because I played it and I didn't finish, but the developer sort of have made an update to it, which removed a bunch of the levels. So I played it again, wanting to actually like finish the last few levels. And then when I hit continue, it started at the pool levels, which is where I ended. And so I ended up beating that. But then I was like, oh, well, is there not more? I thought there was like five more levels I had to go through. but it turned out like the dev was rebuilding these, so it's still like a work in progress. Uh, like I said, the puzzles from the original were actually not were pretty decent. Uh, but I have to go C tier because it's still like in development. Um, I would love to play it again and maybe shoot it up higher next or this later this year. But uh, yeah, right now it's uh, oh yeah, no, unfortunately, I gotta do it. Unfortunately, if it had like all the levels left, if they were still intact, I'd probably put it up in B tier because it wasn't bad, and again it was, but uh, yeah, like I said, it's in a state of development, not because it's terrible, but because it's just again it's not fully fleshed out, and uh, maybe things will be different one of these days whenever they do finish it. Nightmare Files Clap Clap. I think I paid like $2-3 for this, but this is yeah, this is right here. It's not it's a decent little horror experience, kind of the same as Missing Hiker. It's pretty short. Um, like I do love like the retro style. I think that really works well for horror. Um, again, like I think the problem with Nightmare Files is it was a little buggy at times, and uh, yeah, I had a few bugs with it playing, but it, I ended up being able to fix it just reloading or just having to die to the monster and having it restart again. Again. Okay, yeah, moving on. The final exam, boom, D tier. Uh, it's really just like a political message. Like it's really just the gameplay is just quick time events. I mean, it lasts like maybe 30 minutes, less than an hour. It's free, but uh, yeah, I wouldn't waste any time on it. Just like no, I kind of regret jumping into it and seeing what it was. I guess now I know, but it's whatever. Yeah, I think I'll just throw it in S tier. Now, like, cause there's some, yeah, because like I have a few issues with it, but overall, I still love the game. Um, like I like that they're trying to build more of a story with it, but they still that could be this is gonna be a rant for a while, and I think I'll probably make another video of it. Like while it has its flaws, uh, I still love the core gameplay loop, the the scores from uh, like the soundtrack is just amazing. Uh, some fights are pretty memorable. Um, graphically, I don't think. I mean, maybe because it's like my PC is not the best, so it doesn't look as good. Uh, but graphics has never really been a thing for me. Um, and yeah, ultimately, yeah, because once you push through like the forest walk sections and the story mode, which is the only thing that like mind boggles me. Uh, no, I'll rant about that in another video. Uh, why I think it may not have been as successful as Monster Hunter World, um, but like at the end of the day, I still enjoy the game and I still go back to it from time to time. Not as much as like the other Monster Hunters, but uh, that'll probably be another video where I rank each of the Monster Hunters I played. But yeah, no, S tier for me. Pools. Oh, that's A tier. Um, yeah, like if you want like it's another, like Still Awakes the Deep walking simulator, but if you want that like liminal experience, uh yeah, this game is it, man. Like have your headphones on and hearing every footstep and every little creak of water. The Yeah, it really you digs into that like liminal experience where it's like you feel like something's there, but you don't ever see it. And like the unsettling of that is what uh, I mean, they nailed it with that feeling when you play the game. So I gotta give them props for that. Yeah, oh, excuse me. But like most backrooms games, there's not a whole lot of story. Like there probably is a story in this game, but again, it's like it's hidden, so it's not very obvious what that is. Uh, so that's the only reason why it's A tier. Like if there was a whole reason or motivation, it'd be up there with Still Wakes the Deep. But unfortunately, nope. S tier has to have like the whole package. Even though Helldiver 2 doesn't, well, I mean, yeah, it kind of does have a story. Um, yeah, yeah, no, like for S tier for me, it has to be the whole package. Fears the Fathom Woodbury. This one definitely A tier because it's pretty much like Missing Hiker and Nightmare Clap Clap, but much more expanded upon. Like there's there's story in these two games, but this one has one that's more fleshed out. Uh, I mean, they say they're based on like real stories. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how true that really is. But I mean, with this one for sure. I mean, even if this particular story isn't real, like oh, actually, I think it might be. I think I did hear something about this in the news at some point, like during COVID. But uh, yeah, no, this is. I mean, the story in this is pretty goddamn real. Like, I mean, it's it's something. If you stayed at an Airbnb ever, like this is 100% of shit that can actually happen. And so yeah, it yeah, it really like the horror aspect is perfect. The only thing that kind of throws it into the B tier is like some of the gameplay. Like it takes there's a lot of build up. Like you have to play a lot of like little stuff. Uh, yeah, you have to. It just takes a long time for the build up. That's really my only issue. It's like I ended up having to separate this video into like into two videos, and when I initially thought it was gonna be one, but because there's so much build up, and I think some of it's like a bit unnecessary. I think if you really wanted to, you could probably cut down some parts to it, uh, and just make it more of a focus. Then it really wouldn't be so bad because like it really hypes up at the very end, but man, like that beginning section is just it kind of drags on too long. All right, now this is the first game of like many in their series, the Broken Lore. Uh, hmm. I'll probably throw this in A tier. A tier, because for an indie small dev team, um, yeah, no, it had a good story. Like I said, I need to replay it and try to unlock like some more of the secrets to like really unravel more of the story that's in there. But like, man, once you kind of understand the theme of what this game's about, like, yeah, it's a good story. Um, damn, now I'm questioning it because I'm like, because it has, eh, hmm, yeah, no, it's gonna stay in A tier because it has a good story. I mean, it has pretty much because it's very similar to like Still Wakes the Deep, like Walking Simulator with with some gameplay aspects thrown in, but uh, hmm, shit. Now I'm thinking no because I mean they're almost practically one and the same. Like it really has that Silent Hill vibes. Still Wakes the oof. Yeah, you know what? I think I might have to throw it in S tier because yeah, it's pretty much on point with Still Wakes the Deep. It's a bit shorter, I think, by like, cause Still Wakes the Deep took me like 4 or 5 hours. Broken Lore, I think, took me like two. Um, but yeah, no, like I said, the story and the theme, I mean, they're just yeah, it's on point. Uh, like heavy. Once you play it and like kind of understand what the story's about, it's like, damn, it's yeah, like the themes behind it. Yeah, I throw it as shit because you know what? No, I'll throw it A tier. I'll throw it back in A tier because Still Wakes the Deep, I guess, kind of like really like as a story, it was more developed. Broken Lord, like it was a good story, and it's like a good, and it has some like secrets, and that's I guess that's the one thing that I'm just like, there's more to unlock. I mean, I guess yeah. Yeah, no. This is right. This is right. Yeah, 'cause Still Wakes the Deep was a bit. Again, they're one and the same, but Still Wakes the Deep was a bit more fleshed out, story wise and everything. Uh, yeah, I mean it was they're neck and neck, but Still Wakes the Deep like kind of outpaces it just by a margin. But it's still a good game, especially if you were love heavy, like a very specific theme. But yeah, uh, yeah. Before I was yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna have to stick with it right there. Um, it was good, but Still Wakes the Deep had more impact uh, than Broken Lord Low. But I need to play the rest in this game devs series. Okay, and I made a mistake and accidentally did a few more, made a few copies of these two games. But Path of Exile 2, good top-down RPG. Uh, in the same vein as like Dark Souls and stuff like that. Uh, where would I put it? I think I'm probably gonna put it in B tier because, like I said, it's still in development. It's still in development, and I played and I beat the story once. Then they updated it again, added more to the story, but it's just and like the way they do their seasons, it's like anytime they have a new update, you pretty much have to switch seasons and start all over again. And I'm just not like that's just not motivating to me to like it's good for one playthrough, but like if you have to keep playing like the exact same story, fighting the exact same bosses, uh man, that just that that grinded me down a little bit too much where I'm like, I'm good. If they make it to where, you can just skip to the end game or skip to a certain chapter, uh, because we were one of the people who pre-ordered, that would be amazing. Uh, but because it's not, like the campaign is good once. After that, it kind of drags on. Uh, like you have to replay it not because you want to, because you have to. If you want to try a new build or a different set of perks, and again, it's not bad, but it's not great either in my book. Lost in Vivo for a indie horror game, that's S tier. Like the whole trying to find your dog is is a good motivating factor. And my God, some of the fucking monsters in this game really, it's gonna make a test how much you love your dog, man. Cause goddamn, literally going through hell and back is that's a deep love. You know what I'm saying? And this game had me pretty goddamn scared. Like the it has like that similar PlayStation 2 graphics like Fears of Phantom, Nightmare, Missing Hiker, but goddamn, like the sounds of being in the sewer, it's just, man, it it brings the whole package. It's what these three games should really try to jump to be like this, because holy crap. Even with like with the shotgun and shit, man, some of the monsters and the sounds just really, they got to me. So it's That's all I can say, man. That shit scared the shit out of me. Baldur's Gate 3, you already know. That's S tier. Like, you know what? That goes to the very goddamn front. There is no game. Actually, you know what? I have to. Monster Hunter Wilds high A, not S. I'll just make that correction real quick. Uh, Baldur's Gate 3 S tier. Story, uh, everything you could ask for in an RPG. Everything. It's a fucking masterpiece. There is no there is no denying. That shit is a fucking masterpiece. And I hate myself for not beating the fucking game sooner. Uh, but for sure, you know, this is one of them games where it's like, oh, damn. Yeah, I kind of hate myself for not beating this game sooner, but no, it's damn near perfect in every fucking sense, you know. It's damn near perfect in every sense. Eternal Threads. This was a game that was recommended to me by another good friend, and it was on their Steam library. This goes in A tier. I haven't really played too many games like this. It's kind of like Detective Simulator, where you're trying to figure out what happened to this group of family in, well, not really a group of family, but more like a a group of people living in an apartment trying to figure out what happened to them and how to save them from this fire that happens. And and like I loved it. As is really good. The story wise, the only thing is I just wish there was more. You know, I wish there was more levels. Uh, but I kind of understand from like an indie developer team. You know, you can only do so much. The voice acting was on point. You know what? No, yeah, I think for an indie developer team, yeah, I think I will have to throw it in S tier because like it's one of a kind. It's unique. Like I said, there's not really many games I've played that's like this and kind of, uh, you know, like every single member in that house is like fully fleshed out. You know, you can see their motivations and you know you affect their characters by the decisions you make to try to change them, uh, change the trajectory of their life based on some of the decisions you get to make in the game. And uh, well, it's not like you know S tier is pretty wide. You know, this is a pretty much a AAA studio at this point. Uh, yeah, for the innovation this game has, yeah, I think it belongs in S tier. Mouthwashing. Yeah, this is on the exact same vein as Still Wakes the Deep. I mean, it's a walking simulator, but fuck, the story is like top notch. Again, it's not one that I'm gonna ever forget. You know, uh, it's a masterpiece as well. Um, uh, Again, highly recommended. Even though some people might say you know walking simulators or blah blah blah, uh, like the story behind it is just it's one of a kind. You know, you I again it's probably like these share similar themes, but this one is like on a much deeper level of you know it has more characters that are more fleshed out and just the realism behind it is just so like it's damn. Again, game of the year or indie game of the year for sure. If not, I'm not sure if it did win it. I thought it did, but yeah, I mean it deserves it. That shit is high praise. These two, Warhammer Vermintide 2. I'd probably go in B tier. You know, it's again, it's the same as like Helldivers 2. Like, there's no real official end. Um, it's just more, just do missions, level up, and such. But it's but it's just something about like the combat. Like I said, these two games are like similar, but there's certain like gameplay aspects of it that's just you know like Helldivers 2 is more skill based. It's like you don't need right, yeah, okay, like Helldivers 2 is more skills based, where Vermintide 2 is more gear based. So like if you don't have the right gear, you're not going to do enough damage or have enough survivability to like to win at like higher levels, and that's where like that gameplay loop comes in. It's like, oh, you want to play at like the hardest level, you have to have the best gear. Whereas with Helldivers, it's like you need to, like, if you're able to get into a good position, having more stratagems and different weapons helps, but at the same time, it's like you can still do the same missions with like the basic stuff and still do go pretty far. Whereas this, you really can't. Like, have to play it on easy mode until you, or normal mode, easy or normal, whichever, until you level up your gear, and then you can start doing like the harder stuff. And it's like, to me, I kind of hate gear based uh, leveling, especially when it's like random. Like loot. It's basically like a looter shooter, but with swords. Uh, and I just kind of, as I say, kind of similar reason with Path of Exile 2. It's like looter shooter with swords basically, and it's like they're not much different. Headliners 2, that's gonna go in A tier. It's one of those friend slap type games, but I think the gameplay is so unique. Um, like I love the idea of being like a publicist or a journalist. I mean, and trying to take pictures of these like wacky events that happen, you know, post-apocalyptic style, like Godzilla or aliens or whatever, Sasquatches, ogres, and shit just showing up and just surviving and taking pictures. It's so hilarious. Um, yeah, so fun time with friends. I have several videos of this clipped up, and yeah, no, great time. Okay, this is like one of the last games I beat. Scanner Sombri. This is gonna go in AT. Like I said, I love it because like I loved the like the scanner gameplay. I think it was like one of these games where you kind of had something similar, but this one kind of like really digs into it like fully, and yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It wasn't too much. too much money to cost. I think like $5, but it's a cool little experience, for like 2 hours looking through a cave, doing a few puzzles. Uh, yeah, uh, another walking simulator, but it's like I said, I think it's really just like that gameplay aspect of using the scanner, going through the caves to that's just it's the gameplay mechanic of it that's really like astounding. Um, like this, even though like I said, it was one of the more recent games I beat, the story just wasn't really there. Uh, so yeah, A tier for like a one-time playthrough, and that's about it. Yeah. All right, and last but not least, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Even though technically I technically beat the base game, but in 2025, but the DLC I kind of beat it just a little bit into January of this year. I'll still count it though, but that's A tier. I love the atmosphere so much. Um, I like the Greek setting, uh, just just amazing. Um, like I said, in the beginning, it kind of railroads you. Like you can't really explore too much due to like high level enemies. But at a certain point, once you get past that, the game really opens up, and man, there is like so much to do. So many memorable quests that I just thought was funny. Uh, yeah, like the one girl believing, like her horse was Pegasus, and he'd jump off a cliff. Like that shit was just that it had a few more other memorable quests that are like that, and yeah, yeah, the base game 100% S tier. The DLCs do kind of fall a little flat, but you can pretty much just ignore them. And my next playthrough of it, you know, uh, whenever that happens, a few years from now, um, yeah, for sure will be just a base game. Maybe Legacy of the First Blade a little bit, but yeah, like I said, the Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Not many have done like the Greek world justice. You know, like the original God of War series was set in Greece, but man, it was highly fantasized and not really Greece too much. Didn't really explore like the actual cities of Sparta or Greece very very much, and yeah, it was just I mean it's just so cool, even just to just explore and walk around. It's man, the level design and the atmosphere, the environment, just uh, top notch. Uh, brilliant. Like I said, I loved it. I mean, it was probably the only Assassin's Creed game that I've been like itching to play just because of the setting and uh, the setting and the gameplay loop are just kind of like they keep you entrenched, and yeah, I love it. But these were my list of games I beat for this year, or last year, I should say. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Uh, hopefully, we'll get some more variety of games beat in 2026, but we'll see. We'll see. Uh, okay. So I guess I forgot I finished two other games this year. Uh, so I think my total is at like 27, which is way higher than I initially thought. Like I almost doubled what I was anticipating. But let's just jump right into it because I know this video is already kind of long. Massacre at the Mirage. Gonna go C tier. Um, it's pretty much an homage to the Terrifier movies, and the Terrifier movies are great, and this mimics it pretty well. But yeah, honestly, that's about as much as I can get it. That's as high as I'm willing to give it. Like it's not terrible, but I mean, like I forgot about it because yeah, it's again, it makes me think of Terrifier, and it pretty much makes me want to like watch that instead of play that, you know. And I think that's its biggest problem is it's too much of a derivative. And House of the Dead, again, this is a fun little on the rails shooter, but again, I sort of forgot about it because again, it's a game that you know you mostly played at the arcades, and it's fun for like a cheap thrill, you know, like watching a Marvel movie, uh, getting some entertainment out of it, but it's not anything that's gonna last or stick. The story just isn't like that great. And even I mean the remake, even now is still not like. Uh, I mean it's pretty much the same game. It's not like a remake like Resident Evil did. It's more or less the exact same game, but it's more of a remaster than a remake if we're being honest. Uh, again, good fun shooter for 30 minutes. You know, at the end of the day, that's really as long as the game really is because it was made to steal your quarters, not necessarily be fully fleshed out. And while it is fun to play every once in a while, it's nothing to write home about either. So that's it with these last two games, both in the C tier.